Hi, Dream Whiskies fans. Good to see you. It's Monday. It's the 17th of December, which makes it the 17th day of our Advent Calendar giveaway. Good to see you. Actually, I'm not sure how many people are going to be with us. 1 o'clock on a Monday, I guess you're going to be at work doing some sensible things. But if you're with us, excellent to see you. So look, this is what we've got for you today on the 17th. Hi, Paul. Brilliant to see you. Actually, Paul, you're always the first one up, which means you've got to be our #1 fan for this. So thank you for being there. Got a few things for you today. So you need to stay with us because everyone that watches this can get something out of today. Plus one of you is going to get something else, which I will explain in more detail as we go forward. The other thing that I want to say to you is that I've got another offer that we found for you. So I'm just going to share that with you now. Remember, these offers don't come from us. We just take a look around the web, see what's going on. Or if people notify us, we like to let you know about it as well. So a few hellos. Richard, hi, how you doing? Lorraine? Oh, sorry you missed us yesterday. It's no problem, Lorraine. We're just delighted to see you whenever we see you. Menno, good to see you. Good to be back. Aidan, yo ho ho, back at you. And Johan, how you doing? Derek, what's this? #1 fan. That's a big shout. You're right. Maybe I don't know. You are who's our #1 fan? Paul's definitely the first one on. That's for sure. We always see his name pop up. Nailesh, good to see you. And Gary, hi. How you doing? All right. So let's get into first of all the offer that I found for you today. So on the Whiskey Exchange, which is a UK-based site, but they deliver pretty much all over the world. They have a bottle of Port Ascade 100 proof. Now, Port Ascade, if you don't know what it is, I've got a bottle here. This is not the 100 proof, but this is the brand. And they do a range of Islay whiskies, and this one in particular, the 17-year-old, is incredibly peaty. We've often described this as a bit like drinking the water off the Mary Rose, because it's just got so much sort of age and reminiscence of character and smokiness as part of the whiskey. And I particularly love this, but for me it's a drink it at the right moment. So I wouldn't just have this as a whiskey because I fancy the drink. If I'm looking for some real peat hit, I would go for this one. Anyway, the one that's on offer on Master of Malt is their 100 proof, which is, in actual fact is not 100 proof. I think it's about 114 proof because it's around about 57% alcohol. And they have that on offer. It's a small discount. So the discount is only £4, but as part of the offer, they're doing an engraving service as well. So if you want to buy it either as a present or for yourself, you can get it engraved and personalized. And I thought you might want to take advantage of that. So that's what we're sharing with you today. And I put the link in the description so you can check that out later on. But that's the offer that we found for you today. All right, so let's say a few hellos before we move on. Richard is off to work, but glad you're joining us. Hugh, how are you doing? David as well. Alan, Veronica, Judith, good afternoon. Shane, how are you doing? Right, so you know that I like to make you a few cocktails, and I'm linking today's giveaway to the cocktail. So there's going to be an opportunity for all of you to benefit from it. And like I say, one of you is going to get a little something extra as well. Now, I will explain that as we get to the end. But first of all, let me make the cocktail for you. And I think you'll quite like this one because in terms of how you present it and how it looks, it's rather good on the eye. So let's see what you think. I mean, it tastes fantastic as well, of course. So first things first, I'm going to take my shaker glass as ever. And I'm going to add the whiskey. Actually, I've just washed that out, so it's a little bit wet. Okay, and I'm going to add the whiskey. So the whiskey that I'm just using some Jameson's. You don't have to use Jameson's, but the reason why I'm using it is because it blends well. It's rather soft and rounded. It's sort of got vanilla-y notes to it. It goes well with this cocktail. I tend to avoid things that are over-dominant in particular characteristics. So, for example, I definitely wouldn't use something like this Islay whiskey in this cocktail. So I'm going to put in, let's get my measure. Normally I put in about 50 ml of whiskey, but for this drink we're having a little bit less. So I'm going to put in 35 to 40 ml of the Jameson's Irish whiskey. All right, that's good. Let's pop that down there and then let's put this on the top. Next thing that we're going to add is some amaretto. Now, I've used amaretto in a previous cocktail before. There we go, in case you haven't seen. This is Di Serono Amaretto, flavored with either peach kernels or apricot kernels and almonds, of course. And I'm going to put in 25 ml of that. Remember, this is a relatively sweet liqueur. Actually, it's quite a sweet liqueur. But what we want is not so much the sweetness, but very much the flavor, because these sort of almond and fruit flavors that come through it are what is going to lead this cocktail. Now, the next thing I'm going to add is some simple orange juice. So this is orange juice here that I've got in my pour. And I'm going to put 50 ml of orange juice into that mixture. Here we go. And then I'm going to put another little bit of sweetener in it. This is just some maple syrup. And I'm not even going to measure this. I'm just going to put this in by eye. But that's around about 5 ml, something like that, 5 ml. Okay, so that's all we're going to put in the shaker. I'm going to get my glass out. This is one of my favorite glasses. I think you've seen me use this one before. And then I'm going to give this a shake. Let's see if anybody else has joined us before I shake it up. Hugh's good. I'm glad you're good. John Lux, 57%. That's what ice is for. Or some people say a little drop of whiskey, water as well. Shane, you're good. I'm pleased to hear that. David, what's this question? How long does whiskey stay good after it's been opened? That's just a good question, really. So while it's in the bottle and sealed, you can keep it almost forever. It certainly outlives a lot of human beings, that's for sure. Once you open it, it depends on how it's been exposed to the atmosphere, really, because once new air and oxygen gets in there, it will have an impact on it. Also, it depends on where you store it. So, you know, I go into bars sometimes and see a fabulous range of whiskies on the shelf, but also I see the sunlight coming through the window and just sitting on the whiskey all the time, because sunlight can affect it, temperature can affect it. So it does depend on the circumstances and the environment, but as long as you're drinking them regularly, I think you should be okay with it. Who's this? Dana. How are you doing? No, not Dana, Dana. It's Dana. Do I get it right? An imaginary convict here to give you courage. Good, nice to see you. Whiskey's Francis, that's more like it. Whiskey doesn't last very long in your house. Well, look, I think that's the best way to think about it. Once you open it, drink it, and then you've got no fear about how long it's sitting on your shelf. And Richard's saying, Paul, I'm not really a whiskey fan, but my dad is. But he's a bit too old to work a mobile, but he totally loves whiskey. Right, well, you're in the right place, so make sure you communicate what we're doing to your dad. All right, so you know what's in here. We've got the whiskey, it's the Irish whiskey. We've got the amaretto, we've got the orange juice, and a little bit of maple syrup. Now I'm going to add some ice so that I can give it a shake. So let's just get some ice out of my ice chest, like that. Get my shaker on. And I don't know if you saw the video yesterday, and I gave that cocktail a bit of a shake, and some of it sprayed out the side. Now, the reason why that happened, if you were wondering and if you're watching, is because the coffee that I put in, that I should have let drop to room temperature, I didn't give it long enough, so it was still warm. And if you try and shake something like that while it's still warm, and I was dry shaking it with no ice, that created the pressure and that blew it out. So that was a mistake on my part. What I probably should have done is shake it with ice and then dry shake it afterwards. Anyway, that's just for those of you that were watching yesterday and wondered why I sprayed coffee all over the bar. Here we go, give it a shake. Okay, that's enough. We don't need to give it any more than that. Let's just open this up, pop that to the side and get my strainer. And we're going to strain this into our glass. So this is stage one of this cocktail. Let's just bring it up to about there, and we're good. All right, so we're not finished yet. We're going to add a couple of other ingredients. The first ingredient that I'm going to add is grenadine. So grenadine is a syrup. I'm sure most of you know grenadine. It's this red-colored syrup. It's actually flavored with pomegranates, so that's where the flavor comes from, which is a little bit like bubble gum when it's in a syrup, and also gives it that red color. So I'm just going to drop a little bit of grenadine straight through the middle of the drink, and that will create a little bit of red at the base. Hopefully you can see that. That's good. And then the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to float some wine on the drink. In particular, I'm going to be putting a red wine, and I'm actually using a Shiraz because a Shiraz is sort of light and it's fruity. And actually, when you drink this through the wine, the combination is absolutely fabulous. It just tastes of Christmas. So I'm going to take my spoon In this little jug here, I've got some Shiraz, and I'm just going to use the spoon to help me layer this. I just pour it gently onto the surface of the drink. Here we go. And you'll see that it will just sit there nicely. I'll bring that up a little bit. And there we go. Good. So our cocktail is nearly done. We've got the wine, the Shiraz, sitting on the top, which we will drink the cocktail through. We've obviously got the main body of it, and we've got the little bit of grenadine sitting in the bottom. So the experience of drinking this is that you drink the flavors through the wine, and as you hit the bottom, that last bit with that grenadine sort of hit, that little sweet hit, is almost like a palate cleanser to a degree. It's a fabulous drink and really good for Christmas. Now, I haven't quite finished it, but I'm just going to No, Dana, yes, sorry, I know, I apologize. Judith, sound like this would be perfect with my chocolate torte. Absolutely, especially with the amaretti biscuits. The OJ pourer looked naughty. Sorry about that. It's not the first time we've had a comment on that. Carl, cheers to you. Again, Dana, grenadine, absolutely, yes. Who else have we got here? Got some replies. Judith saying looking good, and Aidan, very nice touch with the wine. Yeah, the wine is a good idea, really. A lot of people don't think about putting wine on top of the cocktail. So the last thing that I want to do is I want to give this a little bit of garnish. There are a couple of ways you can do this. So you can either take, I'm using a Satsuma here, and I can take a little bit of peel like this, for example. Let's just cut that off. And I quite like just letting these things, if you just sort of bend it a little bit, and I quite like just letting those hang over the edge like so, and you can balance it, you can move the cocktail around while you've got that over the edge. Or if you want to go a little bit further and you want to make a bit of a statement, you can cut a little bit off and just pop that on the side like so. Let me turn it around so that you can see. Either way, whatever you want to do, and then the cocktail is done. So what's this cocktail called? Well, that's the question. The question is this. What do you think we should call it? I've said this to you before, that actually inventing cocktails and coming up with new recipes in a way is easier than naming the things. They just trying to come up with names that sort of make sense as far as the drink is concerned is often the more difficult part of creating a new cocktail. So two things for you here. One is this. What do you think it should be called? If you've got an idea, go to our main competition page, the Highland Park competition. Remember the whiskies that we're giving away in our main competition this month. I've actually put a link in the description so you can click on there. If you click on there, it will say enter the name of the cocktail. If you put any name in there, we will give you 10 bonus entries. Okay, so anyone, any idea, try to keep it clean if you could, but make it interesting and creative. Put your entries in there, and everyone who enters a name will get 10 bonus entries. So that's the thing that we've got for all of you. However, if we end up selecting your name, we will send you a certificate with the cocktail ingredients on that says that you created the name for this cocktail. We'll make that official. We'll send you something that says you are the person who named this cocktail. Couldn't be fairer than that. So that's how it works today. You got a name, go to the game page, get your 10 bonus entries, and if you win, we'll send you that certificate. Before we go, let's see who else is with us. David, bugger got to go. See ya. See ya. Lorraine, looks great. Thank you. Richard, Christmas in a glass. It absolutely is, Richard. It really is Christmas in a glass. Judith thinks it's wow. Veronica says yum. Another wow from Cynthia. Dana, no, stop saying that. Dana, not a name suggestion, but beautiful. Thank you very much. John, Shiraz, just wrote Shiraz. Oh, what, as a name for the drink? Maybe. And Hugh, orang, as in orangutan, maybe. Okay, and Richard, Whiskey Christmas. I love those. Right, if you want to get your bonus entries, go to the link. Go to the link in the description, go to the game page, put your answers in there, and you will get your 10 bonus entries into that fabulous Highland Park competition that we're running. And we'll let you know which name that we choose. But look, thank you as ever for being with us. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be doing this at midday, so 12 midday. and that will be day 18. And we are getting closer and closer to Christmas. And by the way, as we get very close to Christmas, you're going to be finding that we're going to have something really special for you in store as well. So thank you for being with us. Great to see you. Have a fantastic Monday, but Monday, and I will see you tomorrow.